Good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Studio Live today and an impromptu live stream here on the channel because I've been spending the day, part of the day, creating my new song here in GarageBand, and you can hear that I've got my MIDI keyboard connected up here because I've been playing some keyboard parts. I've recorded guitar, I've recorded vocals. I haven't done anything with the drums. Maybe we need to fix that in this video. But if it's your first time here on Studio Live today, who am I? What is this? What's going on here? My name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record, and release your best music. Can we do that through tips and tricks and tutorial videos and live streams just like this one? Usually they're more planned, but today we're doing something a little bit different and we're just going to go completely impromptu, and I'm just going to show you where I'm up to because I'm at the point where I'm doing the rough mix of my new song, and I thought for a bit of motivation for me and in case folks were interested, I would show you what's going on behind the scenes or in front of the scenes as the case may be, and that's what we got here. Here is my iPad. So what we have here is my GarageBand project on my iPad. Now I am using AirPlay to show the video. The audio is coming through my mixer, so that should be okay. But the video is going to be a little bit choppy. If you haven't watched one of these before, you can see there I'm moving my mouse and we've got about 2 frames per second. So you'll be able to see like where I'm tapping, and you'll be able to see what's going on vaguely. But because I'm using OBS and I'm using AirPlay and I'm doing a bunch of things at once, it's not going to be super fluid. So just a fair warning on that one before we get started. But this is my song. This is called it's actually called No Apologies now, and my friend Jade Starr gave me the idea for this title. Originally it was just called Fast, and you'll understand why when you hear a little bit of it. But yeah, I like the idea No Apologies because that's kind of what the vibe of the tune is all about here. So let's play a little bit of the start of it here in case you haven't heard it before. I've done some previous videos. I know some of you would have heard this if you're watching on the replay or if you're managing to catch this live. But yeah, here's what it sounds like. I'll make sure the volume's all set right, and let's hit play on this one.
Maybe I spread things a little too thin. Maybe I'm trying too hard just to win. But my intentions are always the best. Maybe I don't always do what I say. Maybe the deadline's a
So that's what we're dealing with here at the moment. We've got 2 tracks of guitars, left and right, the exact same guitar bit there. We've got a guitar solo down here, I know, a bit exciting. We've got some bass here. In fact, I can get rid of this old bass. This was my original bass. We're going to do some cleaning house here at the same time. The drum track we need to do some work on because at the moment the drum track is just a default drummer track. We need to change that. I've got this vocal here which I've left in here just to show you and so that you can hear what happens when you have your input gain too high. I know I talk about clipping and I talk about distorting on your input gain, and I want to show you what that actually sounds like. I've then got 2 tracks here of lead vocals that I'll be using. I've got 1, 2, 3 tracks of backing vocals. I've got a little bit of an electric piano, a bit of an organ track here, and I was experimenting with a whirly. I didn't really get too far with that, but that is the project. Pretty simple. It's probably only 10 to 12 to 14 tracks at the moment. It may expand out a little bit, but this is where it's at the moment. So this is what we're going to be playing with in this video. But I'll see. Let's just come over to here and check in because we've got a few folks that are here live watching along, and we'll say good day. We've got Jade Starr who is here. Hello to you. Hello to everyone. We've got Gavin Master 05. Tank on Cleaning. Have not seen you here for a while, my friend. Good to have you here. Alex LX is here. Sun Ray is here representing as well. So hello to all the folks who managed to find this. This was with zero notice. I just wanted to jump in. If you can let me know, because I'm not using StreamYard, just make sure that the audio audio and video is coming through okay. If there's any issues, just drop a comment there. And if you're watching on the replay, yeah, drop a comment, hit the like button if you like these sort of videos. We're going to have a bit of fun here in the next probably 30 to 40 minutes, and we're going to do some mixing and a little bit of tweaking with this track. So let's jump back on over to the iPad. Here it is here. So I'll take you through a bit of background here. Now, if you've missed the previous videos, I wrote this song. It was literally based on this riff, and it sounded like this. I'll just put it on this one guitar. It's on your left at the moment. This was the entire riff. And then what I've done is I've recorded that. I've recorded a second guitar here. There you go. So there's our left and right guitars there. So in typical Pete Johns fashion, if you've ever listened to my tunes before, yeah, it's very acoustic guitar driven. I write songs on acoustic guitar. I then, if you watched the previous video, and if you haven't, check out I'll put some links in the description afterwards, but I'm super not prepared. If you're watching on the replay, there'll be links down there, don't worry. But then I've added in a bit of a lead guitar part, which comes in and does a bit of this. Let's take a listen to that by itself. And all we've got here, I'm still using my Taylor acoustic for this. Originally, I was going to use an electric, but I wanted to make this song like all acoustic in the end, apart from the bass and the drums. But it's kind of all acoustic. And what we've got here in the plugins and EQ, if we come in here and take a quick squiz, is that we've got just a compressor, some reverb, some EQ here, and the EQ we're just rolling off a little bit of the top end there because it was a little bit too harsh. And I'm actually using this Nembrini chorus. So let's take a listen to this without the chorus here. It was sounding like this. So it's okay, it's kind of sweet, but listen to when I put the chorus on. It just thickens it up a bit. Now, I reckon it gives it a bit of a kind of crowded house kind of vibe, I reckon. That's the sort of thing I was going for anyway. I recorded my bass track, and I'm not a good bass player, but I'm a little bit happy with how the bass actually came together, because I think I wrote a decent bass part here, and it kind of disguises my bad bass playing because the bass part sounds okay. It sounds like this. Here it comes. There. And if we bring that in with the guitars. I just think that it adds a little bit of interest to that with that do, and I wanted something a little bit intricate with the bass part. So that's what I've added there. Excuse me. Now let's talk drums. The drums that I have in here at the moment, maybe we need to fix this in this video. Let me know if you want to see me do the drums in this one live. But the drums at the moment is Darcy. And as you can see, Darcy is doing the same stuff all the way through here. So at the moment, if we bring it up here and hit play, it's just our drummer ticking along, doing her thing. And this is my metronome. So when I recorded all these parts, this is tip number one. If you're playing along at home, I don't use the metronome up here. Listen to the metronome. Who's getting inspired by that clicketing clacketing? Who wants to listen to that? Not me. I want to listen to that when I'm recording. So even though it's not changing it up, it's not got all the right sort of rhythm and changes in there, but it's giving you a little bit more of that actual acoustic drum vibe, and that's what I wanted to go with there. So that was my instrumental. Then I went ahead and started on some vocals. So let's bring these back in the mix. I'll talk about this second acoustic guitar a bit later as well. But then I went and recorded some vocals. The first set of vocals I recorded. Oh, see, now I knew I didn't want to do that. Let's unsolo those. let's leave. Let's just solo this one here. So what you'll notice here is I recorded my first vocal take here, and you can see it's a bit peaky here because I recorded it with the input gain up to loud. Now, if you're recording with an audio interface, as I was here, I was using my Steinberg UR22C. I was using my, oh, I don't have it handy, my Audio Technica AT2020, and you can see in especially a few parts here like this, it gets a bit loud. Let's just listen to a section here and I'll show you what I mean.
Headlines are missed by a day.
Oh, geez, I got that up way too loud. Sorry for the blasting. We'll turn the volume down.
But I'm here to tell you I'm trying to learn, and I'm running as fast as I can.
So it's okay, but you can hear in like that in running as fast as I can. It's like too crunchy because it's almost clipping. It's not quite clipping, but it does clip in a few spots. So what do? I turned the input volume down, and then if we go to that one, this is what my vocals actually became. They became ones like this one here. So again, it's a bit lower, same sort of lyrics, but
running as fast as I can.
A lot more
but
contained.
The work, it never ends, and I try to make amends, but it's not always easy.
Now, the vocals I've recorded here, they may be the final vocal, they may not. They'll definitely go into this demo version, but I was using my my AT2020 like in my hand with no pop filter, sort of singing just to the side of it so I didn't get too many pops. It came out okay. You'll be the judge of that, but it's all right for the time being. And you can see here I did 2 takes of this, and what I've done is I've brought in the second take here as a vocal double in the second verse. So when we come in here, and we've got the second verse, we thicken it up a bit with our second vocal. And this is tip number 2. Again, if you're playing along at home and you want some tips in your own tracks, if you've got a second, like if you're doing a recording of a vocal and you do 2 takes, sometimes you can use the second one if it's not quite up to scratch. And again, you don't want to go with mediocrity, but it was almost there. I just did a second version, and now I can use it to thicken up and have a second vocal here. So if we listen to this,
maybe I'm biting off more than I chew.
There they are.
Maybe
together.
I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness.
And you can hear there, it's just thickening up that that verse there. We'll play the next part.
Maybe I need to step back for a while. Maybe I don't need to go 1 more mile.
And you can hear like there's a few little imperfections in there that they can actually add to it. You know, I'm defending my own bad singing. But yeah, a lot of different artists use a double of a vocal doubling technique. And it works really well in a chorus like this. Let's bring these back into the mix and see what I'm doing in this second. Because here's the thing, we'll show this in a minute, but in the second verse, we bring in the electric piano and the classic rock organ, and there's a lot more noise going on, so we need a little bit more punch with our vocal. So instead of just automating the volume up on our vocal, what I've done here is brought in the second vocal to double it up, to give it a bit more beef. So let's take a listen.
Maybe I'm biting off more than I chew. Maybe I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness. Maybe I need to step back for a while. Maybe I don't need to go 1 more mile, so I can keep my promise to you, and I'm running as fast as I can.
And I need to decide how long I keep the double in here. Do I keep the double all the way for the rest of the song, or do I cut it in and out? And that's the sort of things I'll be doing in this rough mix, which we will be getting to in just a few moments. We will jump down and take a look at these instrumental bits here, but let's just jump back and say good day, because we also have some other folks back here. We have Benedict Stewart. Hello to you. Good to have you here, my friend. John Silvers is here. Says, sounds great, Pete. Thank you, my friend. I'm just scrolling back on up. Yep, just confirming that the audio and video is clear. D-Chord, hello. What kind of mic are you using? Right here I'm using, this one's an Audio Technica AE3300, which is actually a dynamic, no it's not, it's a handheld condenser mic, which is a very strange one. I only have it because I bought it secondhand. It's about a $400 mic, but I bought it for about $150 Australian, about 5 years ago. Very, very nice mic. I love it for my live streams because it gives me a nice sort of presence in my voice, and it doesn't pick up a whole lot of background noise in my very badly treated room here. And by badly treated, I mean no treatment at all. Hello, Johan Olivier from South Africa. Good to have you here too, my friend. Yes, I think we're all caught up there. Cool. So let's jump back on over and see where we were up to over here. So what I added in this afternoon is these electric piano and the rock organ. Now, what I have here, here's one I prepared earlier. I've been using just my Korg micro key. This is a little, it's actually 49 keys, believe it or not. It's a little tiny one, but it's good for adding these sort of parts. If I'm not playing a full piano part, I'll use my Korg micro key because it doesn't require external power, plugs straight into my powered USB hub, and lets me record little ditties. So let's just come in here, and there's the electric piano. You can hear it's over on the left. So the part that I recorded here was really just a very basic kind of trebly part here to kind of complement the guitars and the vocals. So let's take a listen. Sounds like this. So just a nice little subtle bit of smooth treble action there to complement those acoustic guitars, the bass, and the vocals. Just a very, very gentle bit. Then, as we get further on, I wanted to bring in the organ here for this middle part where it all sort of comes together, and we bring in the organ doing this. If we bring those back into the mix here, let's just see what that sounds like and what that adds to this second verse.
Maybe I'm biting off more than I chew. Maybe I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness. Maybe I need to step back for a while. Maybe I
So it's just adding a little bit of something on top there. Whether it stays or not, we don't know. This is the rough mix. This is the beauty part. Now, I have in here some backing vocals, and this is going to be the embarrassing part, but I do like to embarrass myself sometimes. So I wanted to bring in, again, here in the second verse, what I always say about writing a song and recording a song is your second verse it needs to not just be a copy and paste of your first verse. It needs to have something different. So in this case, I wanted to bring in some backing vocals to make it sound different. So here is the backing vocals I brought in. They sound like this. Oh, it sounds like a dead cat. So you can hear what I'm trying to do here, yeah? So we'll bring back in the lead vocals, and with the lead vocals,
maybe I'm biting off more than I chew. Maybe I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness.
I've probably got a little bit too much of that doubled vocal. We're going to turn that down even more. And then when we come in here to our second verse section,
but the work, it never ends, and I try.
back with the vocals.
To do everything I say, but I've only got one day today.
And then we do this little oh bit. I think I need to convince my family to sing this. My wife and daughters will do these backing parts better once we actually get to that phase. But they're placeholders at the moment, and they sound okay for now, for the rough mix. And then this section here is where we bring it into a little bit of this bridge action. Let's take a quick listen.
When you think I've got it made, must be good to be this way. Look at what the people say.
Yep, cool. So that's what we've got going on there. That is all of our tracks. So if you have ideas, if you have thoughts of what we should be putting in here, then let me know. I would love to hear that. If there's other tracks I should be adding, if you think I need to do different things with some of the vocal parts, with some of the guitar parts, with the bass, whatever it happens to be, I want to hear your comments. Drop those down in the comments below. If you're here live, put them in the live chat right now. But for now, what I want to do, let's do something a bit fun. Let's go faders down, shall we? Because this can always be a fun way to mix. I always say, like, mix on the way in and just sort of work out what's going to work and what you're going to do. But I'm just going to go and put all my faders down and bring this up a little bit by a little bit. Now, I haven't got the full drum kit yet, as you know. I've just got Darcy here on drums, but let's start. This is what I would do if I was mixing someone else's track. I would go, what drums do we have? We only have this drum track. I probably need to add some percussion, but let's bring the drum track up a little bit and hit play. This is the rough mixing section that I talked about in the description. So now here's the mistake most people make. They're like, the drums aren't loud enough, and they'll put the drums to here. And then they'll try to mix every other instrument around the drums, but the drums are already peaking and they're already way too loud. So this is why it's good to do a faders down sometimes, because you can bring the drums in, you can bring everything up a bit gently. So the drums should be sitting like around the middle there. Then what we can do, we can bring in the bass, right? Get the bass sitting with the drums. You don't need a lot of bass. The bass needs to be present, but it shouldn't be overpowering. All right, let's go back to the start of the track and let's bring in these acoustic guitars, shall we? Here we are with the bass and the drums. On the left, we want a bit of extra acoustic because these are the main instruments. On the right, what you're hopefully seeing there is that our overall meter, and look, it's not really a meter, it's just the volume on our iPad, but it's not getting anywhere near the yellow yet because we haven't added vocals yet, we haven't added other instruments. We want to keep it low to start with. I've had the problem before, and too many folks dial things up too far too early. So that's a pretty good mix. If we come back to the start here, I'm only on the headphones here, but that's sounding pretty cool in my headphones. Let's come down here to where the lead guitar comes in and make sure that we can bring this lead guitar in with the right sort of volume. There it is. I've just realized that it's not this lead guitar. That was my first attempt at lead guitar. It's actually this one. We'll try again. Take two. Let's try. That's better. And that's good. Now, I've got the lead guitar sitting a little bit under there because vocals are going to be playing. A solo is different. A solo you want to pop out. A lead guitar part that's sitting under a vocal, you want that to kind of sit under the vocal, which is what I'm going to do there. So that's sounding pretty good now for that. But let's come down here to where my lead guitar solo is. What we might need to do is use a little clip gain on this lead guitar solo. So we'll play this part. Now it's already naturally a bit louder. I've actually leveled it back out. It looks like I turned it down before. I'm not going to turn it down. I'm going to leave it at the right volume to start with now because I think it actually sounds good like that. Okay, let's continue on down here. Now, we're going to continue with our instrumental mix by bringing in our electric piano here. So let's come back to the start. Now, what I've done here on my panning, if we come back to the mix here, we have the panning of this one half to the left and then we have the panning of our organ half to the right. I don't even know if I need to bother doing that because we've got some stereo effects on these. I'm actually going to bring them both into the middle because we've got a little bit of stereo delay. We'll bring them into the middle for now, and let's take a listen to this. We'll play it and bring in our electric piano, shall we? About there, I think, for our piano. Let's come a little bit further down and see what it's like in this section here. And the piano and organ are doing kind of pad duties here, so we don't want them to be overpowering. We want them to sit underneath everything else, so that's all good. Let's take a listen to the organ now that comes in here. So I've made this a little louder because I kind of do want this to come over the top. And what I'm realizing, I also want some of this echo. Let's have a look at this master effect. The echo I'm using here is a quarter note echo. So I'll accentuate it here to show you what I'm doing with it. And we'll solo this organ and hit play. Now, obviously that sounds terrible because there's too much of it, but with a little bit of that, it'll actually sound cool because it's kind of mirroring the echo I've got on the guitar, the delay on the guitar. So, you can hear that distant bit of delay. I think that's going to sound good in the mix. So let's bring this back into our mix and we'll come back to the start of this section. I think we're good. And again, you'll notice here that the mix is not up too loud still, but we still need to bring in some vocals. So let's do that, shall we? Let's bring in our lead vocal. We know that that's this one. Not very well labeled here, Pete, but let's bring in our lead vocal from the start and see if we can find the right volume for this one.
Maybe I'm trying too hard just to win, but my intentions are always the best. Maybe I don't always do what I say. Maybe the deadlines are missed by a day, but I'm here to tell you I'm trying to learn, and I'm running as fast as I can, but the work it never ends.
I think we're pretty close to a good static mix. And again, you'll notice we're only just hitting the yellow. There's no orange, there's no red, there's nothing going right up here. We're keeping it in control. And this is what a good faders down mix can actually do, and why I do this quite often, because again, when you start recording, you just turn everything up to 11, you record it, you leave it in there. By the time you get to the end, you're kind of just peaking everything on your volume. So if there's one lesson that I've learned in the past that I'm hoping to pass on with this video, it's that try to keep your volumes lower. You can always turn them up. It's much harder to turn everything down if you're already peaking or clipping. So keep that in mind. Jay Star says, I love the idea. The idea behind those backups, very Ben Folds. Yeah, it's as you can hear. What I'm hearing in this, by the way, this is kind of inspired by a few things. There's a band here in Australia called the Lucksmiths. This is a bit of a like T-shirt weather, if you've ever heard that song. It's inspired a bit by that. It's a bit UMI, especially at the end. There's this kind of UMI ending on there. Bit crowded house with those guitars and the organ and the electric piano coming in there. And yeah, I definitely think there's some Ben Folds in there. No piano yet, but we'll see if we get some piano in there. But I think it's coming together. I think it's starting to sound like a song. Starting to sound less like a demo and more like a song, and that's always a good sign. So let's see what we need to do. Let's bring back in this doubled vocal, and we'll see how much of this we need to bring in this second section. What I'm thinking is we'll probably just bring it in from here for like the rest of it, but at a lower volume. So let's just listen to these together.
Maybe I'm biting off more
Here's
than
that
I
second vocal.
chew. Maybe I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness. Maybe I need to step back for a while. Maybe I don't need to go one more mile, so I can keep my promise to you. And I'm running as fast as I can, but the work it never ends. And I try to make amends, but it's not always easy. And I try to do everything I say, but I've only got one day today.
All right, this is a good spot to take a quick look and a listen at the bridge, because we are going to take it to the bridge and have a quick listen at what we've done here, because, again, we need to make sure the volumes are right for this static mix. I'm not going to do automation in this one, so everything's just going to be less static. We will be covering automation. If you want to learn about automating volume, I'll probably do a video on automation. If not, search Pete Johns automation. You're going to find a bunch of stuff for GarageBand automation. But let's listen to this this bridge section and make sure the volumes are going to stay okay.
When you think I've got it made, must be good to be this way. Look at what the people say. But the roses have their thorns. My biggest critic wears the horns. I think it's time to slow it down.
All right, listening to that, I think we're right about there with the static mix. So where do we go from here? Well, there's a couple of things. We need to change the drums, and I did think we would get to the drums in this one. I don't think that we will. Excuse me. I don't think that we'll have time to actually mix up these drums, but I need to do that, and maybe I'll come back and do that in a future video, or I'll just do it behind the scenes and then show you how it ends up. We also then need to do some automation to make sure that the static mix we have here, some of these parts may need to come up or down depending what's happening in the song. So we're going to need to use some automation to do that. We're going to come back and check the echo and reverb and some of the other effects that we have on this track to make sure that everything's good. We did mix it on the way in a bit. You can see here we've got plugins and EQ. We've made some changes as we've gone in, but they may not be what goes into the final mix. So I knew I was going to have to cough then. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing from here. I will come back and show you what we do in those final ones. But what we might do for now is I'll play through the whole song. I'll take a listen. I'll do some tweaks as we go. I'll turn my mic volume down. So I'll play through the whole song. I'll then come back and finish off. And then again, if you've got comments, if you're watching on the replay or you're watching live, please leave those down in the comments. If you got some value out of this, if you enjoy seeing these behind the scenes kind of impromptu things, then let me know. And yeah, I'll be back at the end of this one. I'm going to throw the mic down. We're going to come here to the very start of the song. This is the static rough mix of my song. I will be doing some tweaks as we go, but this is No Apologies. And again, thank you to Jade Starr who gave me the idea for the title. It's probably my first ever song that has a title that's not actually a lyric of the song, which I kind of like, because all my other ones are like, I got a song called Goats. It's about goats, and I sing about goats. So let's jump in and take a listen to this one. The mic's going down. I'm going to hit play. This is the rough mix of No Apologies.
Maybe I spread things a little too thin. Maybe I'm trying too hard just to win, but my intentions are always the best. Maybe I I don't always do what I say. Maybe the deadlines are missed by a day. But I'm here to tell you I'm trying to learn, and I'm running as fast as I can. But the work, it never ends, and I try to make amends, but it's not always easy. Maybe I'm biting off more than I chew. Maybe I need to be honest with you, but I just don't want to show any weakness. Maybe I need to step back for a while. Maybe I don't need to go one more mile, so I can keep my promise to you. And I'm running as fast as I can, but the work, it never ends, and I try to make amends, but it's not always easy. And I try to do everything I say, but I've only got one day today. When you think I've got it made, must be good to be this way. Look at what the people say. But the roses have their thorns. My biggest critic wears the horns. I think it's time to slow it down. Now I can see the light, and now it's time to make things right for me and you. It's all that I can do.
I turned the drums off at the end because the drums will go away. They'll do it like crash, crash, and then it will just go out to that end section. I realized I didn't do any static mixing on the backing vocals. So my rough mix was even rougher than I thought because it has no backing vocals. But yes, I will add those back in there because they're important, even though they're probably not the finished backing vocals. But there you go. What I think else, so I turned down a little bit of the electric piano and the organ. The organ came in too loud when it was in that section there. I think the guitar solo is a little loud, and then especially when the lyrics come back in, I need to automate that down there to come down. The acoustic guitar I'm pretty happy with all the way through. The bass I think just sits there and is the engine room and does okay. The vocal level, I always mix my vocals too loud. So tell me if these vocals are too loud. Don't worry, I'm not sensitive. You can tell me, and I will turn those down if they need to go down. But all in all, from where this song was this morning to where it is now, I'm reasonably impressed with with what I've been able to put together here. So yes, thank you for being here. Thank you to Jade Star, who's been moderating this chat and has put a link in the chat here to where you can check out my music as well. Hello to Brooke A. I'm glad to have you on board. Gavin Master says, how do you even make these? The music or the videos or both? Either way, so the music, I use GarageBand, which is what you've been seeing here during this stream. The videos, I use OBS, so Open Broadcaster Software. I have a Zoom Live Track L8. I have my iPad, which you've been seeing on the screen. Whoop, I've knocked something that's knocked my screen off. But you've been seeing this on the screen. This is my iPad that is sitting down here. This is connected up through a Lightning to USB adapter, through a 4-port 10-DAC powered hub, through my Steinberg UR22C, and then all that audio has been outputting to my Live Track L8 mixer. So yeah, a slightly complicated setup. But yeah, it lets me do these sort of things. And if you are creating your own music at home, all you need is the audio interface, the powered hub, pair of headphones, lightning to USB adapter, and you can do your thing. That's the beautiful part about creating on GarageBand in iOS. Hello to Alex Backus, hi Pete and all. We are just finishing off here, my friend. I know this was very impromptu, so you may have to go back and watch from the start. Hello to Mush420, good to see you here. We've had John Slivers, Gavin Master 05, Sun Ray, Benedict Stewart's been here, Tankon Cleaning's been here, Alex LX has been here as well. Probably people that I've missed in the chat there. So if I have, I apologize. But yeah, you can catch up on the replay. If you got some value, if you found this a little bit entertaining and enjoyable, hit the like button. That tells me I should do more of these random things. And join me for GarageBand Weekly, which is happening tomorrow. If you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, check out GarageBand Weekly anyway. It's my weekly live show all about GarageBand. I need to get some sleep so I can do GarageBand Weekly, but thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And yeah, if you have any comments about this, please jump into the comments. Again, I'm not sensitive. I want to know what I can do with this song. This is the rough mix. We are going to continue on with this. I can add in more things. Like I said, I want to get my family to do some backing vocals. I want to add in some more instruments to kind of thicken it out. So let me know what you think of that. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Cheers.